All right, so let's get started. We're going to do just a real quick overview of Teaching Channel. Teaching Channel is not anything that's required by iteach for us to do, but it's a great resource for us to have and for our candidates to have. When they come into their early courses, one of the early courses asks them to set up a Teaching Channel account. And one of the main reasons that candidates will already have this done is that they have to meet 30 hours of observation. And if they don't have a school background, this is a way that they can observe remotely and get some of their 30 hours recorded. So most of them at this point do already have an account. Every now and then we'll come across one that hasn't created one yet. Maybe they've been an aide or some in the school already. And so those hours counted, they weren't required to. But what I want to look at tonight is more of how we can use it as a resource. There are lots of excellent videos in Teaching Channel that are real life videos, snippets of regular classrooms, all focused on one particular skill or topic. Very short, 3, 5, 10-minute videos that have lots of good information in it. So I'm just going to walk through the handout. The handout is posted in the file section of our Facebook group. If you ever lose it and you need to go back and find it, that's where I put it for future. So when we go to Teaching Channel, we log into InstructNet, and then across the top, you see in the menu bar, there's a link for Teaching Channel. So if you click on that link, and right now, this has been this way for a while, we get an error. But if you hover over the Teaching Channel title, you see that it becomes a hyperlink. So go ahead and click on that. It's one extra click. When everything is working correctly, that will take you directly into Teaching Channel without having to log in again. But right now, we still have to log in. So go to the login page. There are two choices: course and account access, video platform. Video platform is what we're interested in. So click on the bottom choice. Now I'm going to log in again. I'm going to use the same credentials that I used to get into InstructNet. So our iteach email, and then our password. This is the one that we set to get into InstructNet. And once you get in, be sure that you see iteach, because you can have a Teaching Channel account as a regular account, but this is the one that iteach has sponsored. And so every year that happens to a couple of my candidates. In fact, I have one this week. She swore to me she had an account, and yet she wasn't showing up when I was looking for her. Well, I think it's because she had created that account outside of iteach. And so remind them that they're to use that same menu when they have a page similar to this. They have a link at the top. That's how they're supposed to access Teaching Channel. So chances are they did it outside of this, and that's fine, but there's nothing, they can't fix it themselves. They have to have help. So that's something that we would have to email Kay about, and then she'll get the proper person in iteach to link them up. But it's better if they just do it right the first time, always. So I've already set my team up for this year. You can see how I've got it, and pretty much I use the same thing every year from year to year. I don't do a lot with it, but I do some just because I want them to see what's available mainly, and not real rigid on assignments. I typically set mine for the last day of the month and try to do one short video a month just to expose them to something. But then there are times during the year, if someone is struggling or has a question, even a principal, if they ask me for advice for a teacher, I can refer them to Teaching Channel and have them search and find specific topics. So if we are going to create from scratch, and we're just going to follow the handout, we'll go to the top and go to my teams, or we can go here. There's different places to get to the same place. Choose teams. Then once we get to teams, we're going to create a team. I'll just walk you through one. I'll make a new one tonight. I'll call it Mark Beatty, practice. And then I can write if I have a team purpose. And I've included a handout with some screenshots of mine, with just some sample verbiage. If you want to put coaching, mentoring, whatever you want to name yours. If you want an image, I think that's good. It makes it a little homier looking, a little more inviting to the candidates. So once we've named it, put our purpose, you can do an image if you want to. Let's go down, and we want to make it private. We only want our candidates in there, not anyone else, just the people that are on our list. And then our focus is going to be learning plan. This is where you can assign a video. A discussion would be more like a chat board. But for our purposes, I think learning plan fits better. We can leave course ID blank, and the district can be blank because we're creating our own team, and then we save it. So that's the basic setup of how to create the team. And now that we have a team, if you go to the left side and scroll down, we have learning plan, announcements, members, resources, options, so forth and so on. Next, let's add some members. So we go to members. Right now, I'm the only member. I want to add a member. So I go to the yellow link. And what I normally do, since we don't have that many, I just go by name or email address entry. And then I'll start typing their name. I'll let's see if there's, let me think of one of my candidates. Mandy Stokes, that's one of my candidates this year. And if you see, if it comes up with their name that's capital letters, and so that means typically that they have an account created. So you can click on that, and then go down and add members. You can also use their email, and that's lots of times how I will find them, to make sure that it's the same email that they're using with iteach, whether it's a Gmail account or whatever. And then you add members. I'm not going to add her because I've already added her to my regular group. Now, another example, I'm going to delete her. Let's say that I want to put in, do my daughter's name. See the difference? How that it's not capitalized. She doesn't have an account. So what I typically do here, if they're not already in it, they probably have skipped over that part of their module. I'll just leave it alone, and I'll email them directly. Hey, I need you to go to Teaching Channel, go to the top menu of your InstructNet page, create your account. Let me know when your account is created. Then I'll go back and add them. So for purposes tonight, I'm going to go back to my regular team so that you can see. Here's my 23-24 for this school year. Now I just put a little clip art picture there. I only have 3 members right now. I've invited all of my candidates, but they've not all accepted that invitation yet. So pretty soon I'll start following up with them. You can see here, if I go down to members, what we just did. So these are the ones that have registered. Here are the ones that I've invited that are still pending. So that's how I'll know which ones I need to go and follow up with once I've done what I showed you in the time before. So now it's time to do a learning plan. If we go over back to the left, click on learning plan. You see I've already got mine set up, but so we'll go back to the practice. Oh. Let me go back over here to specifically to my teams. This is the things that are specific to me. So here's the one that I just did, practice. The one up here, you notice when I did that we saw other people's teams. So if we had set ours as public, that they could be found by other people. So that's one reason we do them as private. Okay, so we're in learning plan. I want to add a module. And this is basically our assignment, given an assignment, a name, that comes up. That's what I did before. September video, classroom management. You can name it whatever you want to, whatever makes sense to you. I like to put a due date because it will automatically send them a reminder a few days ahead that, hey, you've got an assignment pending. It comes up with a calendar, and I just choose the last day of the month. And I typically try to load it by mid-month, so if they've got a couple of weeks to get that done. Title and directions, I typically do the very same thing as a title. A little bit redundant, but that works for my purposes. And then I give just some very brief directions. Those are all included in the handout. If you wanted to use something similar to mine, you're free to do whatever you want to do as well, though. And then I want to add a resource. So I'm going to add a resource. And I like to use the teaching channel videos. If you had something specific, you could also upload something from your computer, a Google Doc, a link to a website. There's all sorts of things available here that we don't nearly utilize all the capabilities that Teaching Channel has. But for our purposes tonight, let's go to Teaching Channel Video, and that will take us only to the things that have been posted within their site. It's called the Survival Guide for New Teachers, which I think is excellent. So if you just like Google it or search Survival Guide, it's looking now. New Teacher Survival Guide. That's the whole thing. And then each one, there's one on Parent Teacher Conference, the formal observation, to the down arrow, technology in the classroom, differentiating instruction, ADHD. These were back from 2011, but they're still very pertinent, I think, in what we're doing today. There they are. The very top one is everything, but that would be probably an hour's worth of video. I think that's overwhelming to them, especially this time of year. I like to start with classroom management. So I'll select that one. You see how selected has the link, and then I'm going to attach it. So now I have New Teacher Survival Guide, Classroom Management. And do you want to include the ability to post a response in the section? I say yes, usually. Then they can, this makes it more like a Blackboard post where they can comment on each other's posts. And then save changes. And then it will be there. And that's really all there is to it. Now you can email your candidates and say, hey, I posted a video. It's due the end of the month. At your convenience, go watch it when they log on, and they can see it. They'll click on the link, and then they'll make a post underneath, a comment. They can post as the video is playing. Then you can go back in later and read their comments. And I usually tell them, pick out 2 or 3 things that you could use in your classroom right now that you learned in this video that might help you in your classroom. I want to go back and look at my teams, or let's go to the homepage this time. Like I said, there's so many ways to get back to where you need to be. Just get in and look around, play with it some. You can see lots of different things. Here's some recent videos that have just been added. If you want, let me show you on the course that I have set up for this year. I went ahead and loaded everything. I actually just copied it from last year. There's a way that you can clone it and not have to re-enter everything every year. The first year you have to. After that, it's very, very simple. In October, I'll have the formal observation, and then ADHD, differentiating instruction, using questionings, and writing higher order questions. These last 2 are really good. This time in the year, February and March, our candidates are getting pretty confident and secure in their classrooms, and those are really some extra things that they can begin to make their instruction even better. So let's look at, suppose we have a specific topic. This is another thing that I like to show them or mention to them if they want to look up things on their own. Honestly, a lot of them don't. It's a time issue. So I'm just trying to make them aware of what's there. It may even be next year or the year after they think, oh man, I could go and remember to look something up. So if I wanted to look up, see if there's some response to intervention. 1,400 of them. So you can just begin to scroll through that, see if there's something that catches your eye. Probably the more detail you get it, the closer it's going to get. Don't worry about district, but topics. Here's some of the topics that you can look for. Engagement, or English language learners. That's a good topic. If you have a teacher that has a student that's an English language learner, and then once you submit that, then it will pull up things. See how our 358, and then it gives you a list of those that you can choose from. You could also search by subject. You could search by grade level. So you can see, I'm going to look for English language arts, see how the number's getting smaller. I'm getting more particular, and I'm in a 5th grade classroom. So now I'm down to 42. So it's a lot easier to look at when the more specific that you get. Anyway, lots of good information here. Again, it's not anything that we're required to do, but it is helpful to them. They learn some good things. I would say probably most of my candidates are not excited when I tell them that there's going to be another assignment, but I can't tell you how many then come back and say, oh, that was really good. And it really doesn't, 30 minutes, they're in and out. They've watched their video, they've made their comments, but hopefully they've learned something that'll help inside their classroom as well. Okay, do y'all have any questions? That's really—
So Mark, typically how many of those videos would you send to them and expect that they would do in a semester?
I wouldn't do more than one a month.
Okay.
I have so many other things, and the district is also requiring things of them, sending them to workshops. And I do one a month, and I give them, by mid-month, so they have 2 weeks to get it done. They can get overloaded pretty easily this first year.
So I've got some people that are, of course, in the classroom, but they've got coaching responsibilities. I can't even get them to email me back. I have to hound them. So what is the consequence if they don't do what we send them?
There's not one for Teaching Channel. It's not a—
okay. Okay.
Some of them, I've had the same thing, and it may be Thanksgiving break. They may get in there and knock out all of them at one time.
Okay.
They get in there and realize that, oh, this wasn't so bad, and it's November, so I'm going to do September, October, November all at once.
Okay.
And typically, even if it's when I am doing an observation, I'll mention it to them, and typically I've had very few that just refuse. Most of them get them done eventually. So what other questions do you have? Short and sweet.
Mark, could you send us the list of the ones that you send out every month?
Yes, I think, is it on the handout on the back page of
that? I didn't see it on mine. I just see the first one.
Yes, I can do that. I sure can.
Okay. Thank you.
There's no right or wrong. I mean,
yeah, I understand that. Just to give me just kind of, and then if I see something more specific that I need to do, then I can adapt it. But I just to get started doing it, I want to
see. Let me. I'll go back and. but I'll send an email out with the ones that I suggest. Anything was on the new teacher survival guide.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I've set up for this year. And I typically stop in March just because testing is in April and May.
Yeah.
I usually skip December because all right. Any questions not related?
I did realize. Let's see. October is the formal observation.
Stop the recording and then we can visit if y'all have questions that are not related to Teaching Channel.
Okay.